all, I must try and recap what we did in Ranchi a year back. It was a fantastic experience. And there are some measurable outcomes, there are some not so measurable outcomes. There were three very clear, very measurable outcomes from the conclave we held in Ranchi. The first was that trafficking is now being introduced as a subject in the schools of Jharkhand. I think it's a great take from the previous conclave, and if there are any government agencies here, especially dealing with the Department of Education, I think this is one take we can do for this conclave also. Maybe in other states, the neighboring states of the chicken's neck, like Bengal, Sikkim, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh. I feel that trafficking as a subject in the schools can be a great idea of moving forward. That is the first thing. The second great idea which came out from the Ranchi conclave was that our Chief Minister, as you heard him also, he promised the House that he will come out with a draft law on placement agencies, because we are a source state. And I think many of the states in this area are mostly source state. That means they are the places from where the girls, the kids, the people are moving out to other parts of the country looking for better opportunities. So we need to regulate the people who are in the business of taking these people from A to B. So that's another thing which we can all work on. I'll dwell on that. The third is that our Chief Minister also promised that he will come out with a law on the seizure of properties which are coming out from the proceeds of crime. I think there are many people in the on the legal side, whether from the judiciary, police, or prosecutors here. So we all have a law, that is the this Money Laundering Act is there, but unfortunately that is an act which is dealt basically by the central agency. The state polices do not have any powers under that act to act. So we find that the actions are many times much delayed. So in our state, we are planning to come out with an act to deal with the proceeds of crime. Those crimes are not confined only to human trafficking, but even other crimes like Naxalism. We have a huge problem of Naxalism in our state. So anybody who is making money out of Naxalism or other crimes is also going to be included. So these are the three things which came out very clearly from the conclave in Ranchi. I am not an expert on trafficking. I am just a police officer, and I'll be very frank. The first time I joined service in 1990. But I really came across trafficking in 2009 when I became IGCID in Jharkhand. That is the first time when I really came to know about the various dimensions of trafficking, and when the MHA started this program of starting this AHQ units. That is how I came to know about it, first time in all its dimensions. So what we did in Jharkhand, I'll just very briefly tell you, and then maybe you people can move ahead, so maybe you can take something from there. The first thing we did was, we realized that there are a number of Supreme Court orders and High Court orders which are available, but they are not known to the common policeman. So what we did was, we took those orders and we converted them into police orders. For example, there was a very beautiful order by the Supreme Court, I think, in that Bachpan Bachao order, in which every missing child, if he is a missing child after a certain period of time, an FIR has to be registered. You see, there's a problem in the Thane. If you go to the police station and if you say that my child has gone missing, the Thanedar will tell you that this is not a crime. If something is lost, or if something is missing, that is not a crime. So they will refuse to lodge an FIR. So different states have different modalities of dealing with the missing child. But we found that they don't even do what is called a station diary entry or a sana or a roznamcha. Even that is not done. So what we did was, we created a police order whereby we said that if in 30 days, if a child is not found, then it shall be presumed to be a case of trafficking and the FIR shall be registered. And this had a great impact, because then we distributed this order to all the NGOs in the state. And we told them, you take this order. If the Thana doesn't listen to you, take this order and show it to the Thana and tell them that this is not, if you don't follow the order of this police order, then not only are you violating the orders of the government, but you're also violating the orders of the Supreme Court. So you're also liable to be held for contempt. So this did wonders, and we had a great success in that. That's the first thing we did. Second, we trained police officers. You see, training, but training doesn't mean knowing more law. I think the most important part about training is sensitization. So I feel that any training session which doesn't have a big dose of sensitization, especially for police officers, probably will not do the work. Because we can know the law, we can know the rules, we can know the procedures. But unless we have the sensitivity, the ability to put ourselves in that person's shoes, we cannot do the work. That is the second thing we did. The third thing we did was, in our state, we have what is called the Mahila Police Station. So in every district, we had a Mahila Police Station whose jurisdiction was the entire district. But we found that this Mahila Police Station was acting like a normal police station. In the sense that you will find a woman in uniform with 4 armed guards, as a Thana in charge, she has a vehicle, she has a Hajat. Hajat is that place where you lock up people. So we said no, we don't want a Mahila Police Station to be a place for action. We want it to be a place where somebody can come and make a complaint. So it is not meant for the criminal, it is meant for the complainant. That is what we did. And we found it had a great impact. So we suggested to these women, don't wear uniform, come in CVs. And don't have an office look like a Thana, make it look like a drawing room of a house, where a woman can come, sit, have a cup of tea with you, share her experience, tell your problems, and get her complaint registered in an easy manner. So that is what we did, and we found it really worked. Then, another thing we did was, since we are a source state, so we found that, many of the victims, the crimes are taking place in mostly Delhi. So, it was very difficult to connect to somebody in Lajpat Nagar police station and get an FIR registered. So what we did was, we tried to explore the options whether we can lodge the FIRs in Ranchi itself or in Jharkhand itself. And we found that in many cases we could do that. So we started doing the FIRs in our state. And then follow up these people in other parts of the country, and it had a great impact. And the other thing we did was that we used the SC/ST Act POA, SC/ST Act Prevention of Atrocities Act in a big way. Because we found that it has one important component, that is payment of compensation. And I think, I'm not very familiar with 357A, but I think that the compensation in 357A CRPC can only be paid after the crime. I don't know. But in SC/ST POA, the compensation can be paid even on the registration of the FIR itself. So we found that that is a very effective, quick way of getting some money for the victim. That's what we did. And then we found that in those cases where we could not legally interfere because the POA, the occurrence was very clearly in Delhi, then we connected to some of these statutory commissions. For example, NCPCR, Madam is here, we connected to NCPCR, SC/ST Commission. The ST Commission, fortunately, is headed by a police officer from Jharkhand. So we had a case where a child was, working for a hotel in Noida. And one day, she was found hanging. And the police was so callous, they did not even register, they did not even do a postmortem. And she was a Christian girl, but they didn't bury her. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll stop here.